It's crime fighting time.
Hello YouTube and welcome to my new toy review. This time I'm going to show you the small C.O.P.S action figure collection that I have. Now, as you can see, the collection is small, but I think the figures are so unique that it could be interesting to do a review about them and show them to you guys, because I think you will like them. Now, these figures are based on the C.O.P.S TV series, which ran from 1988 to 1989, and there was also a reruns in 1993. That's when I first saw the series, and it's basically the same concept as G.I. Joe, as in each character of the show has his own special ability and specialty that he can use, and in each episode they use different kind of characters to solve the problems and catch the bad guys. It's really the same concept, even though it has a little film noir vibe, and the whole thing is planted into a dystopian future. So I think the whole concept is quite interesting, to have this kind of retro vibe mixed with the high-tech cyberpunk world of Empire City. I think the show was really great, and I used to love them as a child, even though I was sort of in the age when you don't really play with action figures anymore. I think I was maybe before high school or during high school that I discovered this series, but I remember I still quite enjoyed it, and I was always really happy whenever I managed to catch an episode on TV. And recently I watched some episodes again, and I have to tell you that it still holds. The show still holds up, and I think it's still watchable and still enjoyable with today's standards too. Now, about the action figures. As you probably already guessed, they are really similar to G.I. Joe's, only they are bigger. And I mean, all the articulation is basically same as the G.I. Joe's. The figures are held together by a rubber band, just like the G.I. Joe's. And, well, yeah, everything is basically the same, only they are about twice the size of a G.I. Joe figure, as you can see. The size of this figure is, I think, about 6 inches, maybe 5. And if you put a Marvel Legends figure next to it, you will notice that they are a little bit shorter than them. So, yeah, I guess about 5 inches is correct. Now, about the characters. The main guy, the boss of the C.O.P.S is Bulletproof, and I think he's one of the coolest figures that I own. I'm really happy to have a complete figure of him in my collection. That includes his jacket that is made out of cloth. And as I may have already mentioned in my previous reviews, as a child I was not a fan of action figures with cloth accessories at all, because I thought that was something for girls, like dress up, and that wasn't something I wanted to do with my action figures, really, purely because I didn't want to, waste time of putting the dress on and removing it and stuff like that. But this figure, I have to admit that it is only complete if you have the jacket. The jacket is such a vital part of this character, and not just because of his backstory, because if you look at him, he's half cyborg, he's half human, so I haven't seen the episode when they explain it really, but I really want to watch it, and I will watch it sometimes. But I think the main villain shot him, and that's how they could cure him, to basically turn him into a cyborg. And most of the times in the show he's just wearing his trench coat, and he looks very cool wearing his trench coat, but the problem with this is that it's really hard to find a figure with a decent trench coat. Most of the times the coat is missing if you're looking at online listings, or the coat is really dirty or torn up. I think I was very lucky to have found it in such a nice condition and to have it complete with all of his accessories. So let's look at his accessories first. He comes with this huge gun, and well, I'm not sure if all of the figures, but most of the figures came with this kind of gun, and this kind of gun allows you to put little caps inside here, and by pulling the gun out like this and somehow pushing it, yeah, so there's a spring mechanism inside, and it would hit the cap and it would make a big boom noise. Unfortunately, I don't have any caps, so I can't really show it to you. I was thinking about buying some, and I saw some in my local one of my local toy stores, but those were too big for this one, and they wouldn't have been able to fit inside, so I really can't show you that part. But it looks like a cool gun, a bit oversized, but hey, it's a cybernetic future universe, so you might need such a big gun. He also comes with this briefcase, which can be attached to his arm via cuffs, rubber cuffs. That looks quite cool. If you open the briefcase, you will see some cool gadgets sculpted inside that a police chief might need. Unfortunately, they are just sculpted. So yeah, you can see his ammunition and little gun inside and whatever those things are. And you can put inside some stuff and have it as a little secret compartment. And his final accessory is the actual jacket or trench coat, which is removable, and I'm going to remove right now. And I still hate to do this, and hate it even more to put it back on, because that's always a pain. So there you have him without the jacket, and I have to tell you, even though this is a very cool figure, a very cool character that I really like, but without the jacket he just has this sort of really weird thin neck that I just don't like. So I don't think I will ever have him posed without his jacket, really, because I don't think he looks that good when it comes to this neck part. Otherwise the figure is really cool. You can see all his cybernetic parts right here, even on the back, wires and tubes and everything, and then the whole thing continues down here at his pants. I have some discoloration on the lower arms, and I'm not sure why. Of course, this is an old figure. It was made in 1989, if I see correctly. Not sure. So yeah, it's an old figure, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't exposed to sunlight, so I don't know why I did this part this color, but it doesn't really matter because it doesn't show under the trench coat anyway. And his boots here, very cool figure. Really like the head sculpt. He looks just like he did in the cartoon. I used to love this guy. I think he was the coolest one on the show. He was, of course, the boss. I used to love how mysterious he was. Maybe it's because I've never seen his origin episode, but I always suspected him to be some kind of half robot, half human kind of cyborg. Maybe it's just because the way his glasses flash in the opening sequence. I think that sort of made him robotic to me. As you can see, you can kind of tie his trench coat at the waist. I don't really like it that way. For once, because it makes it wrinkled, and for two, it sort of makes it look like a bathrobe for me. So I like it just loosely opened like this, and so you can kind of get a glimpse of his robotic parts too. I think that looks a little bit cooler. And I also have the card that he came with, which is quite unusual because I usually don't have this kind of stuff with my figures, but this time I got lucky. And you can see some really cool artwork of him. You can see that he has a cap firing pistol, you can see his briefcase there, his trench coat revealing that he's half a cyborg, and the C.O.P.S logo, fighting crime in a future time, and a little instruction about how to use the cuffs and the briefcase. On the back of the box you can see some cool artwork of other figures that unfortunately I don't have, even though I would love to get some more. These figures are not that easily accessible on eBay. I usually rarely see them in online listings, and I think that's because this series came sort of late after the G.I. Joes. Maybe not so many kids bought it back in the day, I don't know, or I'm definitely sure they were not available in my area. I've never ever seen them as a child, but I think they look cool, even though that looks sort of weird with the pink or purple trench coat. He never had a purple trench coat in the cartoon, at least not in the episodes that I have seen. So anyway, that was Bulletproof, and now let's check out one of the bad guys. I have here Turbo Two-Tone, who is, in the cartoon, he's just a goon, just a right-hand guy of the main bad boss, main bad guy, the big boss, this fellow with the big belly. But I think the figure itself looks very, very cool. He looks way more serious than he does in the cartoon, and he looks like a serious mobster, and I really like it. Even though he's sporting pink shirt, and I really admire this, that even though he has pink shirt, they managed to look him menacing and managed to look him someone you can take seriously. I think it fits really well with these white pants, and he's sporting black leather gloves, which just scream professional hitman, and he has his cool shades, sort of a weird hairstyle, and he has the trademark Lemmy mustache from Motorhead. Also, I find it interesting that he sort of looks like this Dreadnought G.I. Joe. Yeah, that's because of the mustache and the shades, but I think it's cool. It's like, hi, little brother. So anyway, I think he came with one of the vehicles, like a roadster or something, and I don't have that one, I only have the figure, but I have his two little pistols that he can put him in his holsters. And what's cool about these holsters is that if you put the pistol in, they actually snap inside and stay in very well. Maybe that's why this one still has them. They don't fall out, they are held very securely inside, and I think that's a really cool thing. He of course can hold his pistols quite well too, but they are much safer in the holsters. So if you don't want to lose them, if you have this figure, you just put them in the holster and you will have your little pistols. So that's Turbo Two-Tone, a very cool mobster guy with his shiny black boots, white pants and pink shirt. And I have one final figure to show you, and that is Apes. Apes is one of the good guys, and his name stands for Automated Police Enforcement System, whatever that means. I don't remember ever seeing him in the show, but I have to tell you that I've only seen a few episodes. I wasn't really lucky to catch this, even though I really liked this show. If I will have the time, I will try to watch the whole series, because I think it's still a cool show. And yeah, this guy is still a really cool guy. He looks like some kind of heavy equipment policeman. According to his bio, I think he's some kind of mechanical engineer. I know I have a lot of accessories missing for him. I think he came with a helmet and a lot of guns and stuff like that. I think even maybe steeled boots. He has some kind of ports on his boots. I think they go here like stilts. So to wrap this up, these are really cool big scale G.I. Joes, and the bigger scale allows you for fun play options and I think a little bit more details than you're usually used to with G.I. Joes. I think on the positive side you can mention that they have great posability. The cartoon is I think still holds up and is still cool to watch even today, and the characters are really cool and likable. On the negative side, of course, you can mention that they have the rubber bands inside them, so whenever that rubber band breaks, the figure will fall apart. So that's a sensitive issue, as with all of the G.I. Joes, really. These figures are sort of hard to get, I think. At least I don't have an easy time getting them. I would really love to get Bowser and his robot dog Blitz, but I was not lucky so far with them. And because they are just below the 6-inch standard action figure size, you might have problems trying to pose him with your other action figures. So if you have displays with Marvel Legends and stuff like that, they might not really fit in with them that well. Of course, they don't fit in with the G.I. Joes either, because they are just too huge for them. So these three lines really don't fit well together size-wise. But other than these little nitpicking issues, I think these are really fantastic toys, and if you like these kind of G.I. Joe type action figures, I'm pretty sure you will love them if you pick them up wherever you see them. Thank you for watching my review, and stay tuned for more. Bye bye.